morning, folks. How are you doing there? Oh, the music on here first. Let me start that off. Good. I'm rusty. It's been 2 weeks. Give me a break. Welcome to Only Sounds. Welcome to everybody for showing up this evening. Whether you're new to the channel or you're a channel regular, it's good to have you all in here. There should be a few more unfamiliar faces in here tonight. But a number of people reach out to me who have subscribed recently and said they're gonna jump in. So if you are new to the channel, say hello in the chat there. Be good to see you all. How's everybody been? I feel like it's been ages since I've been on here. I took a break. I took a good week off, and it was nice. Went away to Spain to see a friend of mine, and yeah, we had a good time. I got back earlier this week, and I was going to do something. I know I said this last time. I was going to do a tier ranking or something like that, and yeah, I've just been so busy getting back into work and things that it's just not been possible to do. So hopefully you guys will settle for a Q&A. I have the quiz cards down there as well. Maybe they'll come out tonight. But yeah, I've had a good little break, and I did a bunch of content before I went away and set that all to kind of go off on a timer and everything. And yeah, we've done well over the last few weeks. We have over, I think, around about 1,300 new subscribers in the last 2 weeks alone. So if you're a new subscriber, thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who's been checking out the content. It's been quite overwhelming, actually, waking up to a lot of new subscribers and a lot of new comments. Something's really clicked at the moment, which is nice. But I still love doing these Thursday nights with you guys. I think it's a nice treat to be able to sit there and go backwards and forwards with you guys and see all the familiar faces in the chat. Let's see who's in here. Let's have a look. Go to the top here. We have Chris Smith, Liana, Matt Pattinson, Bionic Zombies here, Chester's here, F-Stop Cornea, Brandon's here. Hey Brandon, how you doing? John Jones, Jonathan Sokongo, Song Company or something like that. Sean's here, Batshit Scary. Good to see you, Sean. Lenny TS1's here, Dean Renner's here, Gina's here, Apocalypse Peely or something. Good to see you anyway. Sorry if I butchered your name. Wraith's here as well. White Rose is here. Good to see you, Anthony. Reese. Good to see you, Reese. Reese, I haven't done this in ages. I think it's still on here. Let's welcome Reese. I'll do it again. Let's welcome Reese. I haven't done that for so long. I haven't seen you in the chat for ages. I've done it for so long. I'm going to actually do it again. There you go. Welcome, Reese. Good to see you again. Billig 3356 is here as well. Nick's here. Good to see you, Nick. Let's see what you guys are saying. If you've got any questions, folks, just fire them away in the chat and let's have a good conversation. There's been lots of trailers dropped over the last week or so. Resident Evil, Evil Dead Burn. I'm hearing really good things about Obsession. I spoke to 4 separate people in the last week who had seen Obsession, and they were basically saying it's the horror film of the year. 4 unconnected people in the industry. There have been a few screenings recently, so I can't wait to see that film next week. It's been, you know, the trailer's been out for quite a while now, and it's finally dropping in the UK on when is it now? May 15th, I think. So really excited to see Obsession. Really excited to see Evil Dead Burn. I thought those trailers they've dropped over the last week have been absolutely bonkers. And there was another one that dropped this evening. They dropped another one this evening, a kind of slightly kind of a slower burn trailer that just turns into absolute carnage towards the end. But yeah, there's all sorts going on in the horror world at the moment. So if you want to talk about any of that stuff, then just drop it in the chat there. Okay, let's have a look here. Hope you're good. Hope you had a good breakdown. I did. It was it was a nice break. I need to go away with my wife next time, because she's been away twice this year. I've been away once this year. We've both gone away without each other. So I think a holiday with the two of us is due pretty soon. But it was good. I do the same trip every year to Spain to see a friend of mine out there, and we have a great time for the week. And it's a nice little kind of chilled week with no plan. We just walk and eat and drink and just put the world to right all week. It's great fun. Billig 3356 says, just found the channel a week or two ago. Man, it's dope. Good to see you. Thank you very much. Thank you for the compliment there. I've kind of exhausted myself this week because one video that I did is approaching 50,000 views, and I've tried to reply to every single comment. And there's been something like 1,500 comments on this video. Oh my God, it's been tough, but I've really enjoyed it. Seeing people, and it's all been so positive as well. There was one or two idiots, but yeah, they don't last long. But it's been fun, kind of kibitzing backwards and forwards with everyone, and some amazing comments about horror movies that have stayed with people over the years. I did the video where I talked about American Werewolf. What else was in there? There was a bunch of stuff in there, and how certain scenes have stayed with me for a long time since I was a kid. And it was I tell you what was really popular. Salem's Lot. Barlow in Salem's Lot was the one that came up the most. Then it was Zelda in Pet Sematary. That was one that kept coming up. And yeah, but some real recommendations that came out in there as well. I've made a list of things that I haven't seen that I need to get onto. So thank you everybody for giving me those recommendations, because they all sound excellent, and I'm really up for trying old horror films. That I've got one old horror film here which I haven't seen, which got recommended a few times, which I think is an Italian film from the late 70s. Whatever this is, you got a free CD from Goblin with it. So if anybody's seen this movie, apparently it's batshit. But it's called Beyond the Darkness. And it's Joe D'Amato who directed it, who did things like Absurd and Anthropophagus. So I'm looking forward to kind of diving into that. Maybe I'll do a video on it. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah. Got lots of things planned to drop this over the weekend and into next week as well. Recorded a couple of things already, which I'm going to put out. And yeah, all's good on OnlySans at the moment. And I've put a little a link in the chat if any of you fancy joining the membership scheme. What I'm going to do in a little bit, and please remind me about this, is I'm going to gift a bunch of memberships as well. We've had some great watch-alongs over the last couple of months, and some great kind of behind closed doors live streams have been going on as well. That's been a lot of fun. So thank you to all of you so far. I think there's a good 40 or so members that we have on the channel. So thank you guys for continuing to support things, because like I said, it's not cheap running a channel. There are a lot of costs that you have to take into account, and so those memberships that people buy really do help and go towards me being able to do content to a certain level. So thank you for that. Jonathan says, thoughts on Lee Cronin's The Mummy? Haven't seen it yet. I do need to get on that. I've been too busy to be able to go and see it. There's a load of stuff I want to catch up on. I want to see Michael. I want to see The Mummy. I still haven't seen things like Ready or Not 2 or They Will Kill You. And yeah. Another film which I'm looking forward to coming out on streaming, which I think is next week in the US. I have a US Apple account, and I'm able to rent films from the US Apple store. Which was great, because when I was over there a long time ago, I did some work over in the US, and I set up myself a US Apple account while I was over there, and I've had it ever since. So whenever anything comes out in the US that I can't see in the UK, I'm able to rent it. So that's really cool. And Faces of Death, this new Faces of Death is coming out in the next few weeks. So I'm looking forward to watching that. I think it's actually next week. I'm looking forward to watching that, because that's had kind of okayish reviews. So, and Hokum will be along soon as well. But yeah, lots of horror I need to catch up on at the moment. Thoughts on the new Evil Dead trailer? And Liana, I just saw that. Thank you so much. Look at that, folks. Liana's just gifted 5 memberships. That's really kind of you. Thank you. Beach Dad 1 got one. Brandon Haddonfield got one. Chase J99 got one. Cooper Tanks 1475 got one, and Miss 80s Movies and Music got a membership as well. So we will actually be doing a members live stream a week on Sunday, 4 o'clock UK time, 11 a.m. Eastern. And then I think 2 weeks after that, we're going to do our next watch along, which I try and do a kind of watch along with a difference. You're almost watching the movie, but not on the screen. We do it in still form, and we put lots of character pictures up there and facts and all that kind of stuff. And I really dive deep into it beforehand. So we've got lots of information to talk about. We've done the Prowler already. We've done the Burning. And I don't know, I kind of fancy doing the Fog or something next, but we'll definitely do a vote. You guys can decide. But I'll put that out to the members over the next few weeks. Okay, what we got here? Let's have a look. What are your thoughts on Send Help? I liked it. I thought it was, Sam Raimi doing what he does best. Didn't quite go as batshit as I wanted it to, but I still enjoyed it. I thought she was terrific in it. Well, I thought they were both terrific in it. But yeah, I love Sam Raimi anyway. So yeah, did enjoy it. Jason says, good to have you back. Thank you, Jason. Is Reese Crocodile Dundee? Not far off. Dean Renner says, Obsession sounds like it's going to be amazing. Yeah, I've not heard a bad word about it. And I had a text first thing this morning from somebody that I know in the industry who's a massive horror fan. And he just wrote and said, Obsession, best horror film this year so far. So that's good, because there's been some good stuff this year. Colonel Mustard says, HorrorCon in a few weeks. Is anyone else going and doing a fancy meeting up? I'm there on Sunday. I'm there Saturday and Sunday. Might have to come back on Sunday morning. Not sure yet, but I'm definitely there on the Saturday. But we'll see. Logan says, Darren, I just watched Jaws 3 and it was by far the worst Blu-ray transfer I've ever seen. What's the worst Blu-ray transfer you have ever seen? Oh my God, that's a tricky one. It might well be this. I don't know. We'll find out over the weekend. I'm trying to think. It's an old film. I had a Blu-ray of The Cassandra Crossing. Anybody remember that? Richard Harris. I think it's George P. Cosmatos that directed it in the early 70s. Martin Sheen's in there. It's a big all-star cast, big disaster movie about a virus on a train. And they say the only way to get rid of the virus is for the government to derail the train, and the passengers have to fight back. It's a really, really cool disaster film. And I bought a Blu-ray of that years ago, and it was 4:3, and it just looked like it had been scanned off a DVD or something. It was absolutely appalling. But they are bringing out a 1080p one pretty soon, a really zhuzhed up version. So yeah, Cassandra Crossing, I think, is the worst Blu-ray that I ever got. What's your thoughts on the Evil Dead poster and trailer? I love it. Can't say too much about it because I work for the company that is releasing it in places, but I absolutely love it. So that's all I'll say there. Question, do you ever avoid trailers for films you really want to see? Do I? No, I don't. It's difficult to do that because I work in the business where I work with trailers a lot of the time. And so it's always good to be watching competitive product and that. So no, I don't. And I'm involved in trailers quite a bit, cutting and all that kind of thing. We're not actually putting the trailers together, but I guess adjusting them for censorship purposes and things like that. So yes, I do watch a lot of trailers. Ray says, I have to admit, as a Resident Evil fan, I'm a bit on the fence with it. So you're bringing up films I really can't talk about. No, I'm not going to talk about Resident Evil. Okay. Darren, is there anything on Mama's Boy series yet? Mama's Boy series? Mama's Boy. I'm trying to... What is that? You'll have to elaborate on that, Beach Dad. Mama's Boys series. I remember there was a Jamie Lee Curtis film years ago called Mama's Boys or something in the 90s, if I remember right. Wasn't there? I'm pretty sure there was. Brandon says I had to skip past the Invisible Man part of that video because I haven't seen it yet for some reason. Oh, the recent one that I put out. Yeah, I did put chapter stops in there so that people could jump across if they wanted. But Invisible Man for me was a great film. It really took me by surprise. I thought it was one of the best movies of 2020. We didn't get a lot of movies, unfortunately, in 2020 because of COVID. But yeah, I really enjoyed that film. And I think it has one of the best blindsiding moments in recent history, which is what that video was all about. Moments that blindside you. Wonderful Italian schlock. Oh, Hearts of Darkness. Hearts of Darkness. Beyond the Darkness. Yeah. Tell you what else I picked up a few weeks ago was this beautiful new 4K Suspiria that's come along. I need to watch that maybe this weekend. It took ages to come, did that one for some reason. What have we here? Thoughts on Frighteners? I like it a lot. I do like it. Yeah. There was a connection with something recently in the Frighteners. I think it was Sheep Detectives of all movies. I think the director of Sheep Detectives worked on the Frighteners, if I remember right. He was one of the effects guys on the Frighteners. That was it, yeah. Reese says, my work has been relentlessly busy with Michael and Devil Wears Prada 2. Michael especially. Lee Cronin's Mummy died a quick death, unfortunately, at least in Australia. Yeah, it didn't do too great here either, unfortunately. I don't like to see films like, studio movies and things, or any movie tank. But yeah, it didn't perform as well as what was expected of it, I guess. Oh, thank you again, Liana, for those memberships. There you go. There's the sent 5 OnlySans memberships. Darren, what kind of NAS do you use and how many terabytes? Thinking of getting one. I use it's a Ugreen DXP 4800 plus, and I can't remember how much. I'd have to have a look now. I've got a lot of terabytes in there because it's backing up everything that I do, all the videos, all the because I do everything in 4K. It takes up a lot of space, and so yeah, it's all saved on there. I try and do streams in 4K as well, and I back everything up. So yeah, it's there's a lot going on it. Darren has been giving his NAS a rest while he was in Spain. Yeah. Hokum was really good, says Rick. Good, very creepy and atmospheric. It's one of my favorite films of the year so far. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that. I saw, I like the guy's other films, Oddity, and I forget what his first film was, the Irish director. He was, he's a great director. Oddity was fantastic. I know Davey Deathray was really bigging up Hokum, so I'm looking forward to seeing that as well. Hey Marisol, good to see you. A lot of people saying hello. What's your thoughts on the Blair Witch being a remake by a Blumhouse? Isn't this like the second remake of that now? Because what's his face did one? The guy who directed The Guest. Damn, his name slips me now. He did a Blair Witch remake, and do you remember? It was called something else right up until everybody went to the cinema to see it, and then they revealed it as Blair Witch. So I said, yeah, I saw the other day that Blumhouse are doing another one. I don't know. I mean, we've got the original. I'm a fan of the original, so I'm kind of, how are you going to make the whole point of the Blair Witch was the fact that, it was a charade, wasn't it? It was they were pulling the wool over people's eyes about this whole thing being real. You can't do that now. So whether it's going to be can you call it viral back in 1999? It was to an extent, wasn't it? Because it was all based around an internet website. So whether you can do that again, I don't think you can. You can't. No, everybody knows it's going to be just a remake of a movie that came out 27 years ago, 26 years ago. Jason says there hasn't been a bad Evil Dead film in the franchise. Call me a pessimist, but I think it's only a matter of time. Ooh. I don't know. I love that trailer. I thought it was chaos. I had seen in advance the what's the one where the girl's crawling across the floor. I had seen that, and then they put out this R-rated trailer, and that was insane when she pulls the headrest out of her face, and the fingers coming off in the door. I showed it to my wife tonight, actually, downstairs. We put it on the big screen, and she was gobsmacked by it. But she's a horror fan anyway, so she'll be well up for it. Many of the early Blues were just upscale DVDs. Yeah, you're right. They should make an Outbreak movie about people aboard a cruise ship. Hey, where have I heard that before? It's docking on at Tenerife, and a friend of mine's going on holiday this weekend. So yeah, that's going to work out. I don't think it's anything to worry about, is it though? At this stage, from what we've been told, anyway, it's fairly low risk. I think. I usually watch one trailer for a movie I want to see, and that's it. But sometimes I'll go in completely blind. Yeah, I've done that a lot of times. Gone in blind with things on streaming that have caught my eye. But anything that tends to play in the cinemas, I will, check out beforehand. Especially if I'm going to make the journey to the to the cinema. Mama's Boy is crisp. Oh, right. Okay. Now I've got you. Okay. Now, thank you, Dean. Thank you. I'm really excited for it. I think I like everything that I've seen before. The guy who's the showrunner is of good stock. So I'm hoping it's going to be good. And, why the hell not? I mean, it's so long now since we've had anything Friday the 13th based, unless you count that cider advert. So yeah, no, I'm up for it. I'm really excited for it. I think it'll be good. I think we're going to be surprised. Code name for Crystal Lake series. Yeah. I remember now. Let's talk about Iron Maiden. Then the doc was. Oh, you saw it. I got invited to the premiere, which was on Tuesday, but I wasn't back in time. And I really wanted. Do you know what was really cool about it? I watched some of the footage afterwards, and the fact that they embraced Blaze Bailey on the red carpet, and I know they're embracing him for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as well. But it was just so cool that they brought him on, and all got there and had their photograph taken on the red carpet for the movie. I thought, good for you for not forgetting him, because somebody forgot him originally for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But yeah, it was nice to see. It was nice to see. Where did you get your Video Nasties docs from? Direct from Severin, or are they available somewhere else on the UK? They're official UK releases. The Video Nasties ones, the two of them are up there. Can I get to them? No, I don't think I can at the moment. I've got a bunch of crap on this side of the room I can't get to. But yeah, they are available. You probably get them on Amazon over here. Moral Panic, there's parts 1 and 2. Somebody told me recently that they're bringing them out on one Blu-ray. They're only available on DVD, but somebody told me recently they are bringing them out on one Blu-ray soon. So maybe watch out for that. Those are the only two that I own. I mean, I think they're both on YouTube to watch. If you just want to watch them, they're on YouTube. But if you want to own them, because there is a ton of extras on them, then I think I got them from Amazon when they first came out. Thoughts on Possession remake? Well, I love the original, and I have the big box out there. I think it's one of the most expensive, second sight box sets they've ever done, apart from Dawn of the Dead. I love the film. I think it's terrific. I really do. And I was late to that film as well. Remake on it, I'm not sure it'll work quite as well. But yeah, I mean, look, I don't mind remakes. I don't mind remakes at all, because for me, I've said this plenty of times, it doesn't take anything away from the original for me. I've still got those amazing originals, the Halloweens, the Elm Streets, whatever you want, My Bloody Valentine, whatever it is that's been remade. If they want to do it for another generation, fair enough. And if it's good, that's a bonus as well. So I don't mind remakes. I don't necessarily watch them all, but I'm not one of these people who say, oh, you're pissing over the memory of the original. And no, you still have the original. And it doesn't take anything away from that, I feel. So yeah, no, I'm cool with remakes. I kind of maybe roll my eyes a little bit when I see that they're doing something that maybe feels a little bit too soon. But on the whole, I'm just kind of, yeah, whatever. You know, I'm too old to worry about. It's not the sort of thing I worry about. As a horror fan, I don't worry about remakes being made at all. Yeah, it's not something that bothers me. I got the DVD of The Frighteners. For some reason, it only takes up half the screen. Really? That's interesting. Okay. I would send that back. I love Dexter, but haven't got around to Resurrection, says Daz. I watched the first series of Dexter and never carried on. I don't know why. And the thing is, I know now how it all goes and everything. But, yeah. Vanderhoff, Dave. Yeah, we talked about Send Help earlier, actually, Dave. I liked it. I wanted it to go, you know, a little bit more batshit than it did. But it kind of, you know, I came out thinking, yeah, I liked that. I'm not in any rush to watch it again, but I was happy with it, I think. Other than Fangoria, did you collect any other magazines when you were younger? For me, it was Gore Zone. Was the other one I collected. Fangoria and Gore Zone. And I still buy Fangoria now. I still have a subscription to Fangoria. I have at least the last 7 or 8 years worth of Fangorias, because they only bring them out every quarter now. And I've got them all downstairs filed in a box, like a magazine holder or whatever. And I've got the book that they bring it out coming as well. You know, the crowdfunded. I went for the really kind of plush leather-backed thing that they've brought out. That's coming in June or July. Which the thing was with that book, I had to buy it to get rid of it off my socials because I was just getting bombarded all the time by this fucking advert. In the end, I just went, all right, and bought the plush version. And I thought it'd be quite a nice thing to have because although I collected Fangoria when I was younger, I don't know what I did with them. I don't know what I did with them. I know I pulled the Linnea Quigley posters out and put them on the wall, but with magazines, I must have thrown them out at some stage. I think there was a phase where I kind of, maybe in the 90s when I moved out, you know, early 93, I think I left home and probably chucked them out then because I kind of fell out with horror for a few years. You know, the horror in the sort of early 90s wasn't that great. And so I probably got rid of, I probably thought, what are you doing with these, you pervert? And threw them away or something. Now I look back and I think, Jesus Christ, I had Fangoria right from about 86 onwards, when around the time of Jason Lives, I think I started to collect them. And Gore Zone as well, which came out, I think, in the sort of late 80s. But yeah, I wish I still had all those because some of them are worth a fortune now. Adam Wingard, thank you, did Blair Witch. Adam Wingard is a sequel. Is it a sequel? Okay. What film channels do you follow, like horror or just in general? I tend to watch mainly horror channels. Who do I watch now? I obviously watch Dave McRae and Frank, my co-host on The Slaughtered Lamb. I also watch Pat, that Halloween movie collector. I watch Davey Deathray as well. Who else? Who else do I watch? Lee. I love Lee's stuff from Drum Dums. Who else do I watch? Occasionally Cody. Cody Leach. Occasionally Frank and I had him on The Slaughtered Lamb once. He was very generous with his time on that. Who else do I watch? I think that's it at the moment. I'm trying to think of who. Davey Dark's Forgotten Horror Channel. The Forgotten Horror Channel. Yeah. He does some good stuff. Good British YouTuber. Does a lot of British nasty stuff, and it's the same age as me. I don't know if I've been on his channel a few times, so I watch him a lot as well. Sorry I'm late. Been busy dancing around the living room because my football team won. Oh, congratulations. Reese, good man. Thank you very much. Reese has joined the Cropsy crew. Thank you, sir. That's really kind of you. Cheers. Yeah, I heard Obsession was really good, says Brett. Oh, that's all I'm hearing is good stuff about that. DVDs are OOP, I think, but you can find them. Are they out of print now? You can find them on YouTube. Okay. I'm sure you'll pick them up on eBay or something like that. DJ Mr. Joel says, I have a long history going back with Maiden. I purchased a Number of the Beast t-shirt at a Canterbury gift shop in 1982 while I was on a boy choir tour because I thought I was so cool. That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Did you dare wear it on that tour? Yeah, I've been listening to them since around that time, probably early 80s, early mid 80s, and I've seen them live a lot of times. I actually saw them live last year. I'm not going to go and see them again this year, I don't think. I think it's pretty much the same show. But yeah. Leave Blair Witch alone. What's next? A bloody remake of Raiders of the Lost Ark. It will happen. I'm sure it will happen. Wraith says, I like a lot of remakes, Darren. You still ain't selling the Fog remake. Don't. That one's appalling. I've told the story about that before, but yeah, that was, I had involvement with that, and I was ashamed. Dexter has the rare opportunity for having the shit series finale for a third time. Yeah, I've heard that he die and then come back or something like that. I don't know. Did you get the For the Love of Horror Fangoria? Oh, hey, Em, how you doing? Oh, that's another channel that I watch as well. Her. Folks, I don't know if Brandon can put Em's link in the chat. Her. Em does a lot of good stuff, a lot of good breakdowns and like mini documentaries, things like that about her favorite horror films. She also does a lot of live content as well. A lot of stuff on Scream if you're a Scream fan. But did you get that? No, I didn't, because I didn't make it to For the Love of Horror. And I know plenty of people that did go, and I should have said to them, can you get me that one? Because it had the different cover on it and everything. But yeah, it's I shall be there in November, I think. So if you're there, Em, come up and say hello, or I'll do that to you if I see you. I used to collect Hammer horror magazines. Oh, fantastic. You know what I like? There's a TV show called The Hammer House of Horror from the early 80s. And there's a recent Blu-ray of it, and it looks fucking phenomenal. Because it was all shot on film. Just looked brilliant. And they've done a great remaster job on it. Some great episodes. Brian Cox is in one. Peter Cushing's in one. Diana Dawes. Loads of old British character actors and stuff. And they're like little kind of, Tales from the Crypt episodes, but very British. But they look stunning. And I've enjoyed going through every episode of those. Wraith says I'm on the crowdfund as well. Yeah, hopefully it's going to get sent out in a couple of months, I think. I think they said June was the expected date. Do you know the 70s, 80s genre mag Midnight Marquee? The name rings a bell, but I'm trying to picture it in my head. I'll have to Google it afterwards. But thanks for the recommendation. I'll have a look at that. 70s and 80s genre mag. Yeah, it rings a bell. Bloody Boston says, Dad said, did the maid take your Fangoria magazines? No, she didn't. Don't you start with the maid nonsense. Oh, other channel I watch is All the Good Names Are Taken. My good friends Ronnie and Blake over on that channel. They don't do too much these days, but when they do, it's always really good fun and tongue-in-cheek. Bloody Boston says, I watched Late Night with the Devil earlier this week. It didn't strike me first time round, but really enjoyed it. I wasn't a fan of Late Night with the Devil, and maybe I need to give it another go. I wasn't a fan of it. I don't know what it was. I can't put my finger on it, but maybe I went in there with this huge expectation, and it just didn't live up to that. But yeah, I think if it was one of those films that I just discovered, I might have found it, more entertaining. But as it was, I was kind of like, I waited until it got to Shudder to watch it. And when I did, I was just like, But you know, I'm up for giving anything a second go, apart from the Fog remake. Late Night with the Devil is decent. Gina should be pretty cool. I need to watch the first season. I heard great. Oh, you're talking about, yeah. Darren never mentioned Dave McRae now that he makes the big money. Darren, I did mention Dave. I said Dave. I said Frank and Dave. Dave is my first choice because Frank doesn't do that much content at the moment. The new Blair Witch apparently has the two blokes from the OG film as producers as one, was whinging but not to mention, hang on a second, which apparently has the two blokes from the OG. Oh yeah, I heard she's not in this one, right? Heather Donahue, she's not in it? Thoughts on True Detective Season 1? I saw you liked Kill List and they have a similar vibe. Yeah, True Detective, first series. The first series and the Jodie Foster one, which was like a love letter to the Thing, I thought was fantastic. First series especially. And it was that one episode that was kind of that, in that crack den, which was just fantastic filmmaking. Really, really cool. Would you go see Iron Maiden if Ray Fiennes reenacted his Bone Temple routine right on stage? Yes, of course. Yeah. I'm good, thank you. Hope you're doing well. I am. Thank you very much for asking. And there's your channel link. Folks, go over to her and check out Em. She does some great stuff. She really does. Mother's Day was a pretty good remake with Rebecca De Mornay. Yes. Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed that. I did enjoy it. That's brutal as the original. I'm going to have to miss it in November as I'm on holiday. You watch them get the Nev the one time I won't be there. You never know. She may be there. She may be there. Bloody Boston says, oh, just letting you know, Frogs is free to watch on YouTube. Thank me later. God, if you haven't seen Frogs, folks. Question, says Wraith. I watched Together in the week and the CGI horror really took me out of the film. Has this happened to you when watching a film? Yes, it has, but I did like Together. I really did like Together. CGI horror takes me out a lot of the time. It's a shame, you know, when we see CGI horror, it just... I don't mind the mixture of practical and CG, but it's got to be subtle. If you're going to do CG with practical work, the CG has to be really, really subtle. And I'm trying to think of a film now where it's really... the first one, I would say, was An American Werewolf in Paris, if you ever saw that film. Now, I know Barry's a big fan of that movie, Wolfman's Got Nards, but if you've seen that and you've seen the bloody CG in that film, it's just like, I can't even give that film a second watch after watching how shoddy that looks. Has anyone been checking out Tales from the Crypt on Shudder? It's great to see them. Have they dropped? I was waiting for I haven't looked at Shudder for 10 days or so because I've been away, but if they have dropped, then I'm going to definitely start checking them out. And it's great that the new Shudder app recently dropped in the last few weeks. It's got a download facility on it now, because I've told this to you before, my journey to the office is 2 hours each way. And so I spend a lot of time on the train, but a lot of that is on the tube on the London Underground. And so on my particular line, they haven't got phone signal down there yet. They have on some, but on mine, they don't. And I have to download things beforehand because I just can't watch them when we go underground. I'm underground for a good half hour. So that's great that Shudder have added that facility, and downloading a few of those Tales from the Crypt episodes is perfect for the journey in. And that's when I listen to a lot of other horror YouTubers is on that journey. I can do a full episode of Pat, that Halloween movie collector, on the way in, and then maybe listen to Davey on the way back, or Dave McRae, whoever it is, and get a full episode in, a full 2 hours of it. Hey, Pat. Oh, Pat's in the chat. Good to see you, Pat. Ashton Lux here as well. Let's have a look. Is Barry here? Did I see Barry pop up? Barry in the chat? If he is. Oh, he is, yeah. He heard me say that Werewolf in Paris is shit. He's saying Werewolf in Paris is superior to the original. You're just drunk. That's exactly what Barry turned around to me and said when we were at For the Love of Horror last year. Tim Capello from the Lost Boys was on stage, and every year he's on stage playing his bloody saxophone. I Still Believe, and he does like a 12-inch version of I Still Believe. And every year it's fucking awful. And we joke about it all the time. This last year, I was at the bar and I was listening to it and I was thinking, this is actually not too bad, this. So I walked back with the drinks to Barry and I turned around and went, this is actually not too bad this year. And he just looked at me and went, you're just drunk. Drop the drinks. Yeah, it's not that great. It's not that great. But thanks, Barry, for saying that. You're wrong and drunk. You ain't. Is it high def? I rewatched all the DVD versions, the DVD versions a few years ago. We're talking Tales from the Crypt. I'm hoping they've done some sort of remaster on it. Because I think they were shot on video, so I think they were. So they're not going to come up too well. Accidentally purchased the remake of Slumber Party Massacre last week. Is it worth a watch? Slumber Party Massacre, yes. I'm thinking of which one did I purchase the other day? This one. Sorority House Massacre. That's terrible. And then equally as terrible on the slasher label is that. That's actually better than Sorority House Massacre, I think. But yeah, equally as terrible. But yeah, Slumber House Massacre's okay, actually. There's a few of them, actually. I think there's 2 or 3. I think they may have even done a remake. What's this name here? A new Paul Knight podcast. Hey, nice to see you. A new name in the chat. We'll call you Paul. Pal. A new Pal Knight podcast. Knight will call you. Favorite Tony Todd performance. I loved Night of the Living Dead remake and The Man from Earth. Oh, wow. He's been in so much stuff. I'm going to go with Night of the Living Dead. I thought he was excellent in that. I also like him in The Rock as well, if you've seen that movie. Michael Bay's The Rock. He's great in that too. And his swan song, his final performance as well, which was heartbreaking watching him in Final Destination and his speech in that, which was really fitting and emotional. And yeah, good for him. Good for him. Brandon says, my biggest gripe with Late Night with the Devil is that the talk show didn't feel authentic to the time. It felt really amateurish. Yeah, I just couldn't connect with it. I don't know what it was. I think it was just expectation versus the reality of watching it. I think people had built it up so much, and that happens a lot, because it was a surprise. It was a surprise that this Shudder movie, or I think it was Shudder that were co-producers or whatever, was actually quite decent, but it was built up to be like like the second coming to me. And when I watched it, I was just like, oh, it was okay. It was okay. I think both me and my wife were a bit like, but it was, I may watch it again at some point. Oh, you don't rate David Dastmalchian. What's his face? He bores me in what I've seen. I don't mind him. It wasn't so much him. I thought he was okay. And I do like him as a talking head in horror documentaries. I think he's well seasoned in horror and that, and he's always good to listen to. He seems to be one of the kind of more go-to people now on documentaries, whether it's Shudder or In Search of Darkness or any of those things. So yeah, did everybody get their Thing expanded documentaries? I know a bunch of you have sent me pictures of myself in the end credits. I submitted a video just talking about an experience of watching The Thing for the first time, and it made it into the end credits, which is really cool. I haven't watched it myself yet. I just haven't had the chance. I have seen it before, but they have put out the downloads over the last couple of weeks. And I know they're selling the download now for $29.99 if anyone's interested. Just go to Creator VC's website. You'll be able to purchase it there. I should have done an affiliate link, shouldn't I? Reese says, I'm going to show my partner The Thing for the first time tonight. Excited to show him. Wish I could see it for the first time. Oh, God, I do as well, Reese. God, I hope he enjoys it. I hope he enjoys it. I'm sure he will. I don't know anybody who watches that film and thinks it's crap. And I don't think it's one of those films that you can watch sort of, you have to have watched back in the 80s to get on with, because I think the film's so timeless. It's a bunch of old men in a cabin. The only thing that kind of dates it in any way is certainly not the effects. They still look great. Maybe a couple towards the end look a little bit. But, maybe the chess machine at the start. That's it. That's the only thing that really dates that film. Because you watch that opening sequence in the snow in The Thing, that could be a film that was just made. The helicopter looks great. Everybody out in the snow with their goggles on and everything looks great. Doesn't look old or dated or 44, are we now? 44 years old, I think. So I think you'll love it. What's not to like about that film? It's terrific. Any favorite episode of Hammer House of Horror? The one that, The House That Bled to Death is the kind of poster boy for that show, because it's such a horrible piece of imagery, isn't it? These kids having a party and all of a sudden blood starts coming out the walls, the ceiling, covering all the little children. It's just a horrible image. That is one of the better ones. But I think the one with Brian Cox and Brian Cox and Peter Cushing one, where Peter Cushing runs that shop with exotic pets, and he captures Brian Cox and keeps him in this like trapdoor basement. And the only way he can get out is to get around these like panthers and tigers and everything. It's really well done. That's a great episode. And the other one was the werewolf one. I think it was it the Diana Dawes one with the werewolves? I thought that was really cool as well. None of the OGs are starring in Blair Witch thing. Oh, the other two. Yeah, we talked about that. M says, right, you wonderful people, I'm going to bed, but do hope to catch you again. Cheers, M. Good to see you. God, I'm behind on these chats. Let's have a look. Only Saturday. Favorite soundtrack from a bad movie? Mine's Queen of the Damned. Favorite soundtrack from a bad movie? I want to call it a bad movie. It is a good bad movie. But I would say The Delta Force with Chuck Norris and Lee Marvin. The best bad movie ever made. I feel bad for calling it bad, but it has the best soundtrack ever. Alan Silvestri's keyboard, it's fantastic. What else? Let's see what else. Darren is downloading the knock list like Ethan Hunt before the train loses signal. Damn spies. The knock list. What am I missing here? Knock list. I'll go back to that. Did you see the video of Sean Clark with his newly purchased screen-used fog prop, the eyes? Yes, I did. And he really helped with that fog video I did a few weeks ago, because I saw that just before I went live, before I put that out. And it enabled me to, when I was writing my script for it, to talk about the reflective eyes, because I wasn't sure how they'd done it. And they're just little red plastic strips, aren't they? And when they catch the light with the camera and everything and the lighting, they just glow. They're just amazing. I always thought that there were lights in there or something, but no, it's pure reflection. Okay. Oh God, these chats are going quicker than I can get to them. Darren, do you have any pet peeves when watching a movie with someone? I've watched movies with people, and when it starts, that's when they decide to go fix popcorn. I think the main thing is, whenever I go to watch a movie nowadays, I always go for a morning screening, like as early as possible, because I can't watch movies with lots of people anymore, because I can't do with the phones, the fucking about, the talking. It's just, there's no etiquette these days in cinema. And it doesn't help, I think, sometimes when cinemas they don't do a great deal to deter you from bringing your phone to this. I mean, obviously you're going to bring your phone, but when they put QR codes on screens and things like that, which has been done plenty of times in the past, it just kind of encourages people to, you know. So I think noisy food as well. I think food manufacturers should do more to make sure that their packaging doesn't make as much noise as it sometimes does, especially when they start putting Maltesers in popcorn and things like that, and the bloody Maltesers are rolling around in a cardboard tub. Okay. Do you collect any Vinegar Syndrome releases? I would like to get Mutant 4K, but the shipping to the UK is super expensive. If you go to filmtreasures.co.uk, I think it is, they import all the stuff and you can buy it from them. There's a slight markup, but it's not as expensive as buying it from Vinegar Syndrome direct. But yeah, try those guys. I have a few Vinegar Syndrome releases. Roadhouse, I have Golden Child, I have what's the Invasion USA. I've got a few. When's the next quiz down? I will work on something for the next week or two, for sure. Definitely going to do something, either a tier or a quiz or something. Have you seen Obsession yet? What do you? No, not yet. No. We were talking about that earlier. I can't wait. I've had 4 people that I saw in the industry today tell me that it is a great movie. It's the best horror of the year. So, and one of those was like first thing this morning at 8:00 because they screened it last night in London. So everybody's kind of like got to see it. Pat says, can't believe we're halfway to H50. Who do you hope to see there the most this time? I couldn't care less if Jamie shows up after a nonsense excuse at H45. Who do I want to see? I want to see you there, Pat. Hopefully we want to see Barry there as well. Frank, get Dave there as well. Yeah, I think it's the one to go to because I think we've got so many elderly Halloween alum that are still around that can probably still make it in 2.5 years' time. And I think, 5 years after that, you're talking 7.5 years from now, we won't have a lot of those people. So I think it's going to be definitely a goal to get to Halloween 50 in 2.5 years. Oh, I'm definitely going. No question. Can you do a Robert Palmer recreate Addicted to Love music video with a bunch of Jasons and Michaels and Freddys and Ghostfaces dancing? Why would I be? Are you saying? No? What a bizarre question, Akers. I've seen people do it on AI, but I tend to stay away from AI. AI is best when you use it ever so subtly. I'm so glad about that project. The Thing Doc was great. Yeah, it was. Absolutely. Agree with David Dowsmash. I always want to fast forward when he's on screen. Thoughts on Nia DaCosta's thoughts on Bone Temple underperforming. My thoughts, I think 28 years. I don't want to get into that. That's not something that movie's too close to me. So I'll pass on that if that's okay. Sorry, Wraith. But maybe we'll chat about that separately at some point. Michael Strong said, hi, Darren. Have you ever watched Class of 84 with Roddy? Yes, I have. And Michael Fox, as he was credited then. Yes, I have. Yeah, no, I've seen it. There was a few, weren't there? Class of this and Class of that. Do you remember Class of 99? The one with, I think it was Malcolm McDowell, Class of 1999 or something like that, with all the kind of teachers were cyborgs in the class, and it's good fun. Favorite bad sequel: Hello Mary Lou, Prom Night 2, Return of the Living Dead 2, Troll 2. Favorite bad sequel: I always liked Return of the Living Dead 2. I'm going to hold my hand up and say I've never seen Prom Night 2. I'm pretty sure I've never seen it. But yeah, I'd say Return of the Living Dead 2. I went to see that in the cinema when it first came out. I was too young. I was probably like 16 when it first came out. I think I got somebody else to buy the ticket for me. But yeah, I did see that in the cinema. Because around the time Die Hard came out, I remember seeing that like the week before or after. Can you purchase the Thing Doc for a download? Nice, missed it out. Yeah, you can. It's for sale now, and you'll probably get it instantly, Reese. It's $29.95, I think I saw today. They did email me and say, do you want to do an affiliate thing? And I just haven't had the time to do it. So, but yeah, if you go to Creator VC's website, you'll see it on there, I think. I think it literally went on sale tonight. Dear, here we go. Colonel Mustard, doesn't a puppy get brutally electrocuted by an electric fence in that episode of Hammer House of Horror? Are you talking about the Peter Cushing one? I can't, because they are in like electric fences, but I don't remember. It's a couple of months since I watched it. It would have stayed with me that, because I hate anything like that. What's up, Darren, and all you Sans fans? Hey, Eli, good to see you. Good to see you in here. And Eli says, don't forget to slash that like button and sub to this awesome channel. Thank you, Eli. Yeah, if you'd like to sub, that would be great. I'd really appreciate that. And a like would be nice as well if you can afford that. And I have a membership as well. We'll mention that right now. The link's in the chat to the membership. If you want to join that, you'll get early access to content. If you're on the Cropsy Crew level, I tend to let people in that particular tier see the videos before I put them out, sometimes days before they go out. And also we do a live stream once a month, a watch along once a month. And it's fairly reasonably priced as well. I think if you're going to do it off an iPhone, do it off a desktop computer, because Apple mark up the price. They kind of put a premium on it, like £2 or £3 or something. So I would do it off a desktop computer. You'll get it cheaper. That money doesn't go to me either. It goes straight to Apple. If there's a horror sequel you think could work, what would it be? I did a video on this fairly recently. I would love to have seen sequels to My Bloody Valentine and The Burning. But I don't think The Burning, you could do it with Cropsy himself. It would have to be somebody else picking up that legend, because the whole thing, Cropsy was a legend. So even though he was killed off in the original film, I think you could have someone assume his identity and continue that. That would have been really cool. And My Bloody Valentine's kind of, the original was sort of up in the air anyway. So, you know, you could easily do something with that. The Crow City of Angels was a decent soundtrack. Was that like a song soundtrack or a score? Just saw Hokum and the New Mummy the other night. Loved Hokum. Mummy was okay, but too derivative of The Exorcist and Evil Dead. Yeah, that's why I keep hearing that it has nothing to do with the Mummy. I'm going to park the Mummy at the back of my head when I watch that film. But yeah, people seem really mixed on it. Yeah, no, there's a series, Gina. Yeah, you can buy the Blu-ray fairly cheaply, like £15. It's got 3 discs and I don't know whether there's like 10, 15 episodes or something like that. But it's a great series to watch. Very 80s, very early 80s, but it's great to see what 80s suburban UK was like. You know, while I was watching it, I was going on Google Maps and things like that and seeing how much things had changed. I was geeking out watching it. It's great. What we got here? And was there a super chat? Did I miss a super chat? Ronnie, I think Ronnie sent me a super chat. Let me just double check that. He did. Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you, buddy. Send me a super chat for $1.99 saying, love you. Cheers, mate. That's really kind of you. Love you too. Okay, let me just get back to this. I'm a little bit behind, so I'd like to see a video of your favorite film scores in each genre. Well, I've done one on horror scores already. There is, I did it with Nigel. And Nigel's another channel that I watch as well, Rock God 2004. And Nigel's a friend of mine, and I love watching his content as well. I love how he's just, you know, what you see is what you get. He's kind of warts and all. He just shoots from the hip. He doesn't care. He says whatever he feels. And I really respect him for that. And we did a 2-part episode on our favorite soundtracks, where we both got our favorite vinyl and CDs out and all that kind of stuff. And you can find that if you look in my videos section. There's about an hour and a half of us going through our favorite soundtrack. I haven't done one on just normal scores, but we did it on horror scores for sure. Oh, yeah, list is the MacGuffin in the first Mission Impossible. Yes, of course it is. Yeah. I know what you mean. Fuck that Delta Force soundtrack. It's hard. It's played through the whole fucking movie. I imagine Chuck having his funeral to it. You know what? Loads of people. There's a great, and I wish I could put it in the chat. Maybe Brandon can find it, but there is a mix of Alan Silvestri, two of his movies, Delta Force and Back to the Future. They've done a mashup of them. It is fantastic. You don't realize that you need that in your life at all. It is fantastic. It sounds amazing. It blends really well. I don't know, Brandon, if you can find it, can you post it? I don't want people to click on it now. Stay with me. Watch it afterwards. But yeah, it's done so well, and I've listened to it so many times. When my wife and I were driving somewhere a few weeks ago, we were on it. Yeah, we were going. I know we were going to the Cotswolds, I think, and yeah, I was blasting it out, and she was like, "What the hell is this?" I was like on fire with it. It was terrific. Dazon, I was about to say they look fine, but no. Okay. Look at the camera and do your best Loomis eyes as dark as night. I'm getting some weird requests from you tonight. Go to Frank at Frank Riker if you want Loomis impression, or Dave McRae, or Jay off what they called Mike and Jay. I forgot their channel name now. I can't remember their channel name. Make Martin Short the next Dr. Giggles. That's a bizarre one. No, I want him to carry on with Only Murders in the Building. Darren, do you like Strange Behavior, aka Dead Kids? I haven't seen it. But a few people mentioned it to me on the stream the other day, and I had a look on YouTube at clips and stuff like that. So, but it is one that I want to check out for sure. 80 awesome people in here and only 40 likes. Let's fix that ratio. Yeah, that would be cool. That would be really cool if people could like. Thank you, guys. Attempted to watch Strangers Chapter 1. Awful. Didn't get to the end. Pointless remake. I will never turn a film off. I will never walk out of a film. I will never turn a film off. When I first started in the film industry, I got my ass kicked for walking out of a movie, a competitive movie. And I've never done it since. And so I always remember that noise in my head, that person going, "You never, ever walk out of a movie." And I've thought, it's stayed with me ever since. And I've never turned a film off as well. I always watch it. Even if I have to break off and come back to it, I will always finish it. And Strangers Chapter 1, I didn't see at the cinema. I didn't see Strangers Chapter 2 at the cinema, or 3. I waited until they were all on streaming, and I watched them all back to back one Saturday morning. I got up at 7 o'clock. I watched them all the way through to the end. Jeez. Not much in the way of redeeming qualities with any of those films. As weird as it sounds, the second one was probably the stronger one for me. But the original Strangers, the 2008 was it? I think the Bettino one I think is fantastic. I really, really like it, and I think the sound mix on that film, if you've got a really good 5.1 sound setup, the knocking and things like that and the surround speakers behind you is so creepy. It really works as an Atmos or 5.1 track, whatever you've got. Barry says, I'd love to meet Michelle Williams, Josh Hartnett, Adam Han Bird, and Jodie Lynn O'Keefe at H50. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if those would be there. I don't know. Michelle Williams, would she do it? Yeah, interesting. Did you hear Dee Snider is bringing Strangeland sequel as a novel? That's the vampire one, right? I didn't know. I saw that film years. Wow, how long would it be since I saw that now? I don't know, 10 years ago or more or something. Yeah, it's like a Western one, isn't it? If I remember rightly. Ray says, do you think if boutique cinema chain showed older films that it would work? There's a lot of films from the 80s that I'd love to see on the... There's a lot of mileage in repertory bookings and things like that at the moment. There's a lot. If you look at the amount of re-releases that's been done, particularly during the strike, post-COVID, all that kind of stuff, loads of movies have been re-released and have done really well. And you've got in the next week or two, I think you've got Top Gun and Top Gun 2 being re-released. So yeah, no, there's a lot of money involved in bringbacks, you know. So and a boutique cinema is something I need in my town. I really do. My nearest multiplex is, you know, technically is fine, not amazing. And that's the one thing that stopped me from going to see Michael. I really want to see Michael, but it's stopped me from going because I want to be in control of that in terms of the volume and everything. So I'm going to wait to watch that at home. As much as I'd love to go and see it, because there's no really kick-ass IMAX or Atmos multiplex near me, I'd rather experience it at home. That sounds really bad, given I work in the cinema, in the film industry. But yeah, I need a boutique cinema in my town. It's crying out for one. It really is. There's loads of people there that would really benefit in my little town from a boutique cinema. Did you meet Dean Cundy at H45? He's still a legend. And do you have a favorite shot he did in Carpenter's movies besides Halloween? One of my favorite shots that he did is on the thumbnail for this video. That Michael's stepping out in front of that red light. You see it for a split second. I mean, I had to really pause to grab that image of it the other day. That's one of my favorite shots that he's done. Certainly in Halloween 2 anyway. But yeah, in Halloween, what would my favorite shot of his be? I think it's the shot on the one I talked about in the video the other week when Laurie's reassuring Tommy and Lindsay, I've killed the boogeyman, you can't kill the boogeyman, and then it cuts to Michael standing there behind. And I just think that's fantastic. Such a great shot. Because when I first experienced that on a 4:3 VHS in the early 80s, all the shot of him creeping up the stairs and everything was cut out. You couldn't see it at all. It was cropped. And so years later, when I get the widescreen VHS, and it's like, I can actually hear him and see him coming up the stairs now. It was something that you couldn't experience before. So it made the impact of that moment even heavier because you knew he was there. I could see it this time. But originally, when we first watched it on TV and on media home video release, the whole image was cropped and you couldn't see him. So that's one of my favorite shots from Halloween, the original Halloween. Darren doesn't perform tricks on command. Sorry, even though it's behind you, I forgot it was your company. Yeah, shameless plug. No, that's fine. It's one of those things that and I've said this before, a lot of people know this, but I don't talk about anything that I'm working on or that's coming up or anything like that. I mentioned The Fog because that was 20 odd years ago. And I'll mention other things that are a long time ago in that I've done in the past. But I tend not to talk about my job on here. It's just, I don't ever want it to be a conflict of interest, that's all. And so far it hasn't been, and I'd like to keep it that way. So, yeah. What else have we got here? Brett says, Dean Cundy's filmography is quite amazing. Can't believe he shot Roadhouse. Yeah, he shot Roadhouse. He shot even Back to the Future, I think. Did he do Jurassic Park as well? He's got a list of a great old resume, hasn't he? Daz says, Return of the Living Dead 2, I just remember, is basically the first movie with Michael Jackson. It's not as funny as the first movie. It's more slapstick. The original Return of the Living Dead hits hard. And I was having this chat with somebody on a video of mine this morning, in fact, who said that he'd never seen... it was Kill Shill, I think his name is. He pops up in the chat now and again. He said he'd never seen Night of the Creeps because I did a video on it. And I said, it's great. It's got a decent cult following, a nice fan base. And he said, I'm thinking about buying the Shout Factory, 2-3 discer or whatever it is. And I said, it's worth it. I said, but think of it more as a gateway horror rather than Return of the Living Dead, which is pretty full on in parts. And you got all that language in there and nudity as well. I would compare Night of the Creeps more to Return of the Living Dead 2. Yeah. It's a lot tamer than the original. Colonel Mustard says, what time do you stream the watch-alongs? Not sure I can justify watching zombie flesh eaters with the kids at 4 p.m. on a Sunday. It is 4 p.m. I do them then, and it's just so that, it's easier for me to do at that time, because obviously I have, a life as well. So it's tough for me to just, for me to say, all right, on Thursday nights and Sunday nights, I'm not going to be here because I'm going to be doing this. Like, Zoe wouldn't mind, but I just, I'd rather have Sunday night. It's a school night. I've got to go to work in the morning. I'd rather have Sunday night to myself. And so we do them on a Sunday afternoon, but you can always watch them after the fact, and you can be there in spirit as well. And it might not always be. Listen, the way we do the watch-alongs is that the film kind of, as I'm doing the commentary, is pretty much on the screen, because I take around about 100 stills from the movie and put them on the timeline, so that as that moment happens, you see the still of what's happening. It's just a different way of doing a watch-along, and so that if anybody doesn't have the movie, they can sort of, and they have seen the film before, they can, sort of envisage in their head exactly where we are, because you can see it play out on the screen. Did see a copy of Halloween 40-year anniversary in a charity shop not long ago for £1. Halloween 40-year anniversary edition. Oh, the the Blu-ray? There's a 4K that came out for the 40th anniversary, and maybe it's a Blu-ray as well. But I thought you were saying you saw one of the media VHSs, 40-year-old, in a charity shop for £1. Jesus, I would have snagged that. It's worth a fortune. Yes, Class of 99, kind of sequel to Class of 84, yeah. Sean Radley says, The Two Faces of Evil was the best Hammer House of Horror episode. I'm trying to remember which one that was now. Up All Night, one of her best cosplays. Darcy is awesome, says Brandon. Reese says, I imagine The Mummy 4 with Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz next year will be a big nostalgia bait hit. Yeah. I'm not sure how that's going to look. Is he still going to be the hero and everything? Because no disrespect to Brendan Fraser, I think he's fantastic. But he hasn't looked like a kind of leading action hero over the last few years, has he? Maybe he's kind of really getting in shape at the moment and having a new syrup fitted and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. Maybe that's what he's doing. But I'll definitely watch it. The first one was great fun. Second one, some really, talk about CGI that will take you out of a film. The Mummy 2. The Mummy 3 I saw, but I just don't remember it at all. That was the Rob Cohen one, wasn't it, I think? But yeah, I'll have a look at it. I'll have a look. Nigel Has a Way with Words, hilarious. Yeah, he doesn't care. That's why I always pre-record with Nigel. Delta Force Back to the Future music mashup. That is brilliant. Wham! Those are the guys. We watched a movie. I couldn't remember the name of their channel. I haven't watched them for such a long time. So, yeah, there's the Delta Force Back to the Future mashup. After the stream, folks, check it out. It is great. Really great. Sidekicks or Last Action Hero, which would you get? Which would get a remake now? I think Last Action Hero is really underrated. Sidekicks, Sidekicks I saw, I was probably too old for Sidekicks when it came out. But Last Action Hero, I hated when I first saw it. And then my dad just kept watching it and loved it. And it just got me thinking, what does he see in this? And then I bought it and started watching. I just thought it was just terrific fun. I think I was so disappointed when I first saw it because it wasn't your typical Arnie fare. But when you watch it again and realize it's actually a really really cool and smart movie. So I'd say Last Action Hero. And the lengths that Columbia Pictures went to promote that were just incredible. It really was. The dogs on each other's backs. Terrific. Would you go to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal while you were at H50? Yeah. I think that was one thing that I should have done last time I was out there. But we did have a car. Frank and I had a car, but I think we had so much planned in terms of sightseeing and going to location visits and all that sort of thing. We just didn't get the chance. But next time, maybe we'll factor that in and go for a little bit longer, maybe a day longer. But I know a lot of people that we met up with and that did do that. So yes, it'd be something that I'd definitely be interested in. Does anyone here know the film Darren walked out on? Come on, folks, trivia time. I'll tell you what it was if you want. It was about 25 years ago, and it was a film called. Let's make sure. I have said this before. Let's see if anybody remembers in the chat. No one's remembered. It was a movie called Bad Company with Chris Rock and Anthony Hopkins. It was kind of this buddy cop movie thing, and it was just dreadful. And I left, and the next morning I came in the office. Well, how was the film? Oh, I managed half of it, and that was it. Thought I was going to be fired. It was an industry screening as well, which made it worse. Prey at Night is hated on a lot, but it's so fun. Great kills and great. No, I liked the Prey at Night. Liked it. Hey, Davey, good to see you. I was just talking about you bigging up your channel. Blair Hathaway. I walked out of Jane Eyre. I didn't feel any remorse about it. Hot take: Derek Mears is the best Jason Voorhees. Yeah, he's up there. I think he did a great job. I really thought he did a great job. Knight says, do you think they should bring back horror comics like Freddy and Jason and let high-profile writers write a comic series instead of a movie? I think that would be... I'm not a massive comic book guy. Frank Riker, my co-host on The Slaughtered Lamb, he's a big comic book guy. He's actually just started his own channel for comic books, so he would be the best person to answer that question. The last comics I bought, well, I was given some great comics, some of the John Carpenter, the Storm King comics, by one of the artists, the Wigan Cult Film Club. Dave, who is a co-host of the Wigan Cult Film Club on YouTube, he's an artist for John Carpenter, and when we met at For the Love of Horror, he gave me a stack of graphic novels and comics that were signed by John Carpenter, and said, oh, I really like your channel, and, here you go, take these. And I was like, fuck, what? And he recently sent me as well, he'd drawn, for the 50th anniversary of Jaws, he'd done his own Jaws poster. And he sent me 2 of them. I've got them downstairs, which I want to try and get framed and put up in here soon. Or one of them's to give to a friend of mine. But the Jaws poster's fantastic. It's a picture of the shark from underneath with Hooper's cage. With the orca sinking. And you can even see remains of Quint sinking as well. It's a great poster. It's a really cool poster. I turned off Terrifier 3 after the opening. I can't watch gore. I can watch gore, but not that gory. Yeah, I'm kind of numb to that now with Terrifier because it's so whilst it's incredibly gory, it's incredibly polished as well. It's when you get a gory film that's very low budget and something just feels off with it, like when you were watching something back in the early 80s like a Nasty or something. That's when I get really uncomfortable with films, and that hasn't happened to me for a while. I think the last time that happened was the French film Inside. I'm not saying it's a poorly made film. It isn't, but it's quite low budget, and it knows what it's doing in terms of creating the atmosphere it wants to really shock you. Whereas, if you've got art tearing someone's head off and then tooting a fucking ha ha afterwards, it's just like, well, that's just taking me out of it. I can watch this, no problem. But with something like Inside, there's something really unsettling about a woman breaking into your house, wanting to steal your unborn child and going to any lengths to get to it. And And that film for me is one of the scariest and goriest horror films of all time. Amazing shot in Halloween 2. I used to draw that shot in 3rd grade art class. Really resonated with me. Yeah, the other shot I forgot about in Halloween 2 as well is the wing mirror on the car. You know, when I think it's Nurse Karen, I think, gets out of the car, walks towards the hospital, and she shuts the car and the wing mirror pans into shot and you can see his face in the wing mirror, that dirty mask. That's a really cool shot. My autograph from Nick Castle is on the picture of that shot. Best shot in the franchise. Oh, from at the top of the stairs. Cool. My favourite will be Michael slowly walking up behind Laurie right at the end before he chokes her. The way that light is yeah, it is. That's great. It's the fact that I always think, how can she not hear him? Maybe because of the music. Ever seen a ghost, Darren? I did have a weird experience once. I did have a weird experience once when I was lying in bed. This was about 20 years ago. I was lying in bed and I was asleep and I felt this immense pressure on my chest. And I saw white light and it was like something pushing down on me really hard. Now, I'm sure it was just a dream, but it felt so real. It felt like someone was kneeling on my chest. And yeah, that was it. There's a second part to the story that I don't want to go into. But that was the only experience I've had, and I can't explain it to this day. This white, and almost like a noise going like that over my face. But with that pressure on the chest. And then I just woke up like really sort of hot, and it was just weird. It was obviously a dream, but it felt like some sort of, I don't know, experience of some sort. Is Michael the biopic about Bublé? Yeah. David Ever said the Bone Temple is such an awesome movie. Great work to everyone involved. Yeah, it's terrific. It's deserved to do a lot better, did that film. Bloody Boston says, I've never walked out of a movie, but I've definitely walked out thinking I'd rather shit in my hands than clapped. Yeah. What do you think is the best trailer you've seen to a film? For me, it's Alien. I have a few, and they're not all horror, but just, you know, I started my career in 1989 as a projectionist, and I was 16 years old, and I've seen so many trailers over the years repeatedly. I don't know. I thought the trailer for Speed, the original Speed, was terrific because we've never seen action like that before, since Die Hard probably. And I thought it was just one of those films that we had to wait ages to see because it came out at the start of the summer in the US and then came out in the late summer in the UK. So it was just a 3 or 4 months gap for us getting Speed in the UK, and I watched that trailer so much. It was great. I think one of the best trailers I've ever seen is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo with Immigrant Song, a version of Immigrant Song over it. It was the teaser for The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the Fincher remake. I think that's one of the best trailers I've seen in terms of intrigue and the great music over the top. Yeah, those are two that come to mind. Reese says, I think the shot of the fogged up windscreen with Michael strangling Annie is in the car is eerie. So yeah, it is. Yeah, you're right. Dalek Shalom says, just got the Argento Suspiria 4K. It looks like a great render from a quick look. I just literally spoke about that. There you go. Got it myself. I haven't even opened it yet. But I have heard it looks terrific. So yeah, that's a great scene. What a great scene. Darren is the soundtrack to my Sunday cleaning. That's nice to know. Want me talking about the Prowler or something while you're cleaning the house? Wraith says, just imagine watching Last House on the Left on your Sunday afternoon. What fun. We have good turnouts for those shows. They're great. Everybody's off work. I don't like doing them because we have a lot of British members and things like that. I'd rather do them at a time when everyone's awake, and I figure 4 o'clock's a good time because if you're on the West Coast, you're getting up. It's 8 a.m. and the first thing everyone does in the morning is kind of look at their phone and Darren's like, oh yeah. 11 a.m. if you're on the East Coast, and then 4 p.m. you just had your Sunday dinner in the UK. So what could be better timing? And a lot of you have got to be done by 6 to watch Highway or something like that. So, yeah. Daz says, no, I feel like they do the children. I feel like they do the children are the real protagonist thing with them. Oh, hang on a minute. Yeah, I haven't. I feel like they do the children are the real protagonist thing with the money. Are you talking about the new film? Not sure there. Two-Face. Oh, yes. I know what you mean. Yeah. Besides the upcoming Crystal Lake, what on other horror would you do long form on? What other horror would you do long form on? You mean an episode, like a full live episodes? I wouldn't. I tend not to do much in the way of. I'll probably talk about Crystal Lake because it's TV and it's not kind of any sort of conflict, of interest for me or anything like that. But I tend not to talk too much about new horror movies because I don't want to ever say anything negative about a rival company's movie, and that might sound odd to you, but it'd just be really uncool. I'd hate to think that somebody was out there when I'd worked on with a film for I don't know 6 months or whatever, was just somebody from a rival company was going live and just slagging it off like that. So I tend to be incredibly positive about most things and don't say it at all. Yeah, that's kind of my rule, and it's kind of allowed me to do this for 6 years now. Not this channel. This channel's only been going just a year. But certainly the Slaughtered Lamb, we always stuck to 80s, 70s, 90s horror, that kind of stuff. So it's just a personal thing, but I would certainly talk about Crystal Lake on here, or if the new Halloween TV show comes along, that would be if that's going to happen, I would certainly talk about that on here. That wouldn't be a problem. What are a couple of bands or musicians that you think are great but totally overlooked? Oh wow, that's a good question. Geez. I mean, the thing is, I always go to my comfort zone. I always go back to kind of 70s, 80s and 90s rock. I don't really, there's a band from Europe called Heat, which are really kind of cheesy. Like they would, if it was the 80s, they'd have the hairspray and the big hair and all that kind of stuff. I kind of listened to them for a while, but no one really knows who they are in this country. That's a good question. Yeah, I'm stuck with that because I tend to go to. I like things like really cheesy music. I love scores as well, but I also love. My favorite band is Def Leppard, because they're pretty much from the same county that I'm from, and so I've grown up with them from the mid '80s, listening to Pyromania and Hysteria and all that kind of stuff. I'm also a big Queensryche fan. I don't know if you remember those guys. I love things like Styx and REO Speedwagon and who else do I love? All that kind of early 80s bloody driving rock stuff. I just love. I get up in the morning and I blast out. Who's the other band? Blue Collar Man. Damn Yankees and Night Ranger and bands like that. That's who I listen to all the time. That's really old fashioned, but that's kind of my AC/DC. I'm going to see Metallica. I'm going to see Def Leppard on the Thursday in June, and on the Friday the following day Metallica. So that's the kind of comfort zone that I have with music. It's kind of like my films as well. It's all that same. It's a real comfort zone for me. 70s, 80s, 90s. Less so the 90s, but definitely 70s and 80s. Darren and Frank followed our Horrors Hallowground tour bus to find the locations. We did. We didn't follow the tour bus. We sometimes turned up at the same place that you did, but we were going to do the tour. And then we said, well, we've got a car. We might as well just drive to these places ourselves. But yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun, Pat. Gina says, sorry, I can't afford membership at the moment. I'm being ripped off by the... Well, don't worry about it, Gina. No one has to join. It's just kind of like, you know, it's there if you want more content. That's all. But, you know, don't worry about it. I'm never, you know, I'm not the sort of person who comes on here and begs people to do these things. It's just available if you want it. In fact, I am going to gift. Let me gift 10 memberships now. Let me just do that. See if I can, how do I do this? 1 second. Membership gifting. Okay, you have 10 memberships left to send this month. Okay, we'll send those 5 straight away. And then let's send another 5. Hopefully, Jeannie, you'll get one. Oh, no. Did you? Did you? No, we got K-Rock the Phantom, Johnny Diamond, Bald Trainer got one, Lance got one, Exeter 81 got one, Kevin Prestaro, Scruffy Warlord, Brandalorian, Tommy G76, and Robert Morrison got a membership. Congratulations, guys. Sorry, Gina, about that. You know what's really shit about this is that you can't actually choose who memberships go to, because if I could, then people like Brandon would be on the top. Well, he's on the top tier anyway, but he would be comped on the top tier because he does a great job as my mod. And I'd love to be able to do that, but it doesn't allow you to do it. It's such a pain in the backside. Now, let me buy 10 as well. Let me just buy 10. How do I buy memberships on here? Can I buy them? Memberships. Buy memberships. 10. There we go. Let's do that. Hopefully it'll do this. And then there's content on there that you can check out. There's live streams. There's watch-alongs, things like that you can watch. Come on, don't let me down. Hopefully this will go through. Yes, there we go. Okay, there should be another 10. Bloody Boston, Little Michael Myers, Martin Barnes, Mike Baker, Kirsty John, Sean Harris, Just a Normal Person, Carl Wildman, Arbo Climber, and Juicebox Willie all get memberships as well. So sorry, Gina, about that. God. What a shame. What a shame. But thank you. Really excited to have you all on board. If you like what you see, then feel free to stick around on the membership side of things. You'll get the membership for 1 month. You'll get access to, I think it's the Prowler level, but you can upgrade it to the Cropsy Crew level, which has more content on there, I think. But yeah, that's great. We've 25 new members tonight. Fantastic. Where are we now? Let's have a look. Daz says Season of the Witch would make really good season of TV. Yeah, I wish they'd do that. I wish they'd do like a 6-part of Season of the Witch. That'd be really cool. Are you a fan of Inside Number 9? And do you have a favorite episode? The Devil of Christmas is great and has a nod to the house that dripped blood at the end. I'm trying to remember which one. I mean, yes, I love Inside Number 9. I think those guys are so talented. I loved The League of Gentlemen when that first came along. It's just like horror comedy through and through. Psychoville is terrific. And Inside Number 9, I've seen pretty much all of them. The one that sticks with me so much is the Sheridan Smith one, the Christmas one. I don't know if that's the one that you're talking about. I won't spoil it, but the ending is just devastating. Brandon, Inside Number 9, I think you would love if you saw it. If you haven't seen it already, terrific. Marisol says Def Leppard, yes. Okay, since you like the film scores, you should check out bands like Godspeed, You Black Emperor, Earth and Sun. Okay, cool. I was asking, would you like to see more horror franchises as TV series, and which ones would you like to see? Hellraiser. Oh, okay, I get what you say. I was quite up for having a Halloween TV series, but it seems to have kind of gone off the boil a little bit now. I thought that would have been interesting. But then I guess the problem is, if you then want to put it back on the big screen, it's kind of it's more of a challenge, I think. What do you think of the band Castle Rat? Never heard of them. I've heard of Rat. I remember Rat. I've seen Rat a few times. F. Stop Cornea says, Darren just has an awesome taste in music. Everyone else tells me it's fucking awful. Garth Brooks is playing in some big shows over here this year. Do you fancy him at all? I've seen him 16 times over here. No, I'm not down with country music at all, unfortunately. Fate's Warning, Led Zeppelin. Yeah, I do like Led Zeppelin. And last year I had the pleasure, and I don't mind talking about this because we worked on the Becoming Led Zeppelin documentary, and they reached out to us and said Jimmy Page wants to see the documentary. So I was like, okay. My wife's a publicist, and I work with her. And we went along, and he brought his wife and family and a load of his mates, and came to see the screening at our building. And I got to meet him and spend a few minutes talking to him, and he was incredibly charming. And he looked incredible. Like, he looked amazing. What would he be, like 80 or something? And he'd brought a bunch of his mates who were also in the documentary from way back in the 60s and 70s. And they just looked like old men with long coats and flat caps and all that kind of stuff. And he was there in his black shirt, black leather jacket, long hair, looking and smelling amazing. And it was a real treat. It was a real pleasure. He was. I know that some people, there's all sorts of different opinions on Jimmy Page, but my opinion firsthand was that he was a gentleman. So, yeah. RSP Wagon is pretty damn awesome too. Yeah. Did you ever get into the fields of... No, I didn't. Oh, Richard Stanley directed a few of their videos. I do like Richard Stanley, especially that documentary. That's the one. He was the guy that got booted off of Island of Dr. Moreau and hid in the woods watching them all finish filming it, isn't he, I think? Because that documentary is fantastic. If you haven't seen the making of Island of Dr. Moreau, the Brando one and Val Kilmer, it is just bonkers. There's a documentary out there about the making of it, which is done by Richard Stanley. It's mental, absolutely mental. And hell yeah, Darren, I'm back in with the cool. Brandalorian, you're welcome. You're welcome. There you go. All these new members. That's fantastic. It's really good. Most overlooked bands, musicians, Jim Crow, Thin Lizzy, I've always been a fan of. Foreigner as well. Thin Lizzy. In fact, when I went to Ireland just a couple of months ago, I went to where his statue is in the street there. I think it's on Grafton. Is that on Grafton Street? I think so. But yeah, this Phil Lynnett's just got a statue there. He's great. He was the coolest dude. Absolutely fantastic. The Harrowing is a great number 9 episode. Yeah, honestly, Brandon, they're like these little half an hour BBC TV episodes, and they're all based on the number 9. So it'll either be a number on somebody's front door, or I don't know, a signpost, or they're all connected to the number 9. They've done like 6 series with 6 episodes each series. I think they even did like an Italian horror riff for one episode, which was great. They've got all sorts of guest stars, some quite big names in there as well. So, but some of them are just devastating. They've all got a horribly nasty twist ending. And actually, of all of them, maybe some of them haven't got. But yeah, on the whole, they're incredibly bleak. And if you've seen The League of Gentlemen before, you'll know exactly what I mean, because those guys really know how to. I mean, they're all huge horror fans as it is. So all the episodes have kind of linked back to something from the 60s, 70s, or 80s in terms of horror. Are there any films that are stuck on VHS DVD that you wish had moved to HD 4K? Yes. And don't laugh, but there are a bunch. The Fly, The Rock, Con Air, Armageddon, all those Michael Bay Disney movies just haven't appeared. And you know, say what you like about Michael Bay, but he did some incredible action movies way ahead of his time back in the 90s. As annoying as they were, I'd love to see them in 4K with an Atmos track. But I think the one I'm hoping for this year is The Fly. And I'm so pleased as well Day of the Dead's coming along. Darren's favourite musician is Corey Feldman. Has anyone seen that documentary? It's absolutely bizarre. Like, we watched it a couple of months ago, and I was just like, it really, like, he must have lost control of it or something. He must have signed something to say, yeah, I'll do this, and then not read the small print saying that we have final cut. Because it's just like, he would have never have let that get out there if he'd have known what was going to be in it. It's well worth a watch. That bloke's bonkers. I actually thought you said at first Corey Taylor, because I do like Corey Taylor a lot. I love his solo stuff. I love Stone Sour and things like that. More than I do actually like. I like Slipknot, but I prefer Corey's more toned down. Because he's a big sort of 80s rocker at heart, and Slipknot was all. I think he always said that Slipknot was like his passage through to being able to do, the stuff like Stone Sour, which I think is great. There's some great old stuff on those Stone Sour albums. Check out a band called the Dead Skeletons. That will be a bit different for you, Lugs. Okay, the Dead Skeletons. Let me write that down. Dead Skeletons. Okay. Me and Big Jimmy is so cool. Better than seeing pyramids any day. What are your thoughts on the Prophecy films? I haven't seen any of them. I'll be honest, I haven't. If you're talking Prophecy and not The Prophecy, which was that late 70s monster movie, which I think is terrific, I have seen that. There's 9 series of Inside Number. Did they stop at 9? Okay. Wow. I think Darren missed the super chat I sent. Okay. Let me have a look for that, Nick. Sorry about that, mate. Let me have a look. The chat's going so fast. And it probably, there you go. Nick says it just might be enough to cover about a square foot or two of some new carpet there, Darren. Thank you, Nick. Thank you very much for that. I really appreciate that. I have a hole in my floor here, which I need to. But I live in a really old, like 100-plus-year-old house, which is 3 stories, and the top floor was like built on about 40 years ago. And I don't know what happened, whether it was me or the equipment in here or what, but all of a sudden I got a divot, like a hole, which I could probably break my neck on quite easily if I stood in it, but I need to sort that out. But it means moving all of this and pulling up the carpet and farting around, and I'll get round to it. Pat, thank you very much, buddy. Upgraded the membership to the Cropsy Group. Thank you so much, sir. That's really kind of you. Thanks, Pat. I appreciate that. Hey, Darren, do you listen to Ghost? I do. I love Ghost. I really, really like Ghost. Ever since I saw them at a festival about 10 or 12 years ago, I really like them. And I have the concert film on 4K, and it sounds amazing. And the great thing is, I actually did go to the London concert of that. That was the one where they brought out, oh God, with Little Sunshine on it. Oh God, what was the album called? It's not the last one, the one before that. Yeah, great band, really entertaining. Love the lead singer. Takes himself a bit seriously, but I love the whole, the act, the mask, all that kind of stuff, the different look with the different albums and tours, Papa, whatever he's called. But yeah, I've seen them live a few times and I really enjoy them. Jordan says, howdy, folks. I need to fix my notification settings. I always miss the beginning and middle and mostly the end of Darren's. Hey, Jordan, how are you doing, buddy? Congratulations on your live stream the other night. I watched it at work. I had it on while I was working the other day, and it was great that you shouted me out on there. So thanks for that. Horror on Tap. I don't know if Brandon can find your channel and put the link in there. Jordan's got a great channel. Jordan waited a while to start doing it. You know, when YouTubers first start and it's just like their laptop and it's all, the quality's naff and there's no microphone and people are just talking like all that kind of stuff. Jordan was going, I'm going to do a YouTube channel. I'm going to do a YouTube channel. I'm going to do it. And I was just like, just get on with it, will you? What he was doing was building up all the good kit in the background. And then he went live and it was like, ta-da. He was, he's there in HD. He's got a great microphone. He's got a great voice for it. Amazing voice for a YouTuber. So yeah, congratulations on your first live stream there. I know you've been doing it for a good year now, but yeah, I hope to see more live streams. Hopefully Brandon can find your channel, Horror on Tap, and we'll get you some people over there to sub. Whenever Corey Taylor pops up on a horror documentary, I immediately shout next. I have no idea why he's there. He's a huge horror fan, absolutely huge. And the guys at Creator VC love him. They actually, Robin Block, when I had him on, he was talking about him. Corey Taylor actually approached them and said that he wanted to be on the next documentary that they do because he was such a big horror fan. Yeah, he's massively into horror. I think it's really quite cool that they have someone who's that prominent in music that's willing to do that. I think it's great for their resume. First concerts, mine were Eric Clapton and Peter Gabriel. My God, it's 80s. I think it might be Def Leppard. Could be Def Leppard. Def Leppard and Bon Jovi and Maiden, Kiss. Can't remember going to see Kiss really young. I used to go like the late 80s, early and throughout the 90s, 2000. I used to go to concerts all the time. I used to go to festivals. Donington, I used to go to Castle Donington for the Monsters of Rock. In the late 80s, early 90s until it ended in about 94, 95, I think. Ozfest, Download Festival. I went to that probably about 7 or 8 years running until I just got sick of wallowing around in my own filth, camping. There became a point where I just grew out of it and said, that's it, I'm not coming again. And then, it's one of those things that I'm seeing less of these days. But I am going to two, like I say, this year. I'm going to two this year. Post-COVID, I haven't been to many concerts at all, but definitely two this year I've got earmarked already, or tickets for already. Don't forget, Tom Savini does his masks. Where did I see that? Does his masks and The Fiend. Don't forget, Tom Savini does his masks and The Fiend. Does his masks and The Fiend. Is that the wrestler thing? Those are the last sort of masks that he's done, right? Jordan says, thanks, Darren. I appreciate all of that. Yeah, Horror on Tap, folks. There we go. Go and check out Jordan. He does some good stuff. Thanks, Daz. Bloody Boston says, I've thought of doing a YouTube channel, but I've got a face for radio and an accent you need. Well, do a podcast then. If you, you know what? That's how Frank and I started. We spent pretty much the first year or year and a bit, just doing an audio podcast. And we did so many. I don't know, maybe something like 100 episodes on the audio side of things. And then we moved over to Slaughtered Lamb in a like 2022 or 21 or something like that, late 21. and we did like 800 episodes on the Slaughtered Lamb, and we will come back and do some more at some stage as well. But we got to the point where it was just like, we sort of you run out of things to talk about when you've primarily covering things like Halloween and Friday and Nightmare and all that sort of stuff. And we really ran out of ideas for a while. And we took a little break, and we came back a month or two ago and did an episode on Frank's channel. And we're going to do something soon as well. And Frank's working on his own channel too. But we will do stuff from time to time. We definitely will, for sure. I really enjoyed, we took a break for like 7 months, 6-7 months, and I really enjoyed getting back on and chatting with him. And the spark was still there. It was a lot of fun. My first time watching Halloween 3, I never knew that was JLC as curfew announcer and phone operator, but she was listed uncredited. Right. So, and she did the voice in the opening of Escape from New York. Okay. So you'd have to go back quite a few episodes. Sean Clark asked Tommy Lee Wallace if that was Jamie Lee Curtis's voice on Halloween 3, and he said no. Now, whether he's forgotten or something like that, but I remember that episode. Is that Jamie Lee? And he went, whatever that voice is that Tommy Lee was. I don't know. No, not Jamie Lee. No. So I don't know where the truth is with all that at all. I don't know. It definitely sounds like her. It sounds like her in Escape from New York as well. But I seem to think she was asked about Escape from New York and said no as well. So whether she's just kind of like keeping it on the, the down low, I've no idea. But I specifically remember on Sean Clark's channel, having Tommy Lee Wallace on and asking her about that curfew announcer and him saying it wasn't her. Now, if you're the director of the film, you're surely going to remember, right? But then again, it is 40 odd years ago. So maybe he's forgotten. I don't know. Up All Night, I'm in Massachusetts, and Jeff Dedarian was a news anchor for Channel 7, in addition to co-owning the station. Okay. Are you talking to someone else there, Brandon? David Deff says, I'll finally be catching toadies this summer. Plans to catch Suicide Machines, Buck and Nine, Assorted Jelly Beans, and Saves the Day in October. Now you all know concert shit. I haven't heard of any of those. Suicide Machines, Buck and Nine, Assorted Jelly. I know you like your punk, Davey, don't you? So, yeah, no, it's probably a little bit off my radar. I was back to the YouTube thing. Yeah, so we got comfortable doing it with audio. And then I suggested to Frank, why don't we go and try it on YouTube, go on YouTube. And then I think for a little while, we just put audio episodes on YouTube, and then we put ourselves on there. And it's hard. It is hard. I would never have dreamt that I would do something like this. But you just get comfortable with it over time. It will get easier as you do it. It does get easier, but I recommend it because I think it's good. I enjoy it. I love chatting to all you guys. I think there's a great community here, not just here, but the community bleeds across other YouTube channels as well, channels that I follow. I know a lot of people that I'm looking at here will watch Dave or Pat or Davey or Frank or whoever it is, and I love that aspect. I love that there's this community out there that comes together on a Thursday night for my channel and sits and watch this stuff. It's cool. It's a nice feeling. It's a nice feeling. Damn, that was a really solid Tommy Lee Wallace. I've been trick-or-treated to death tonight. Yeah, and you listen to the trailer and it's someone else completely. It's like an angry old man. I've been trick-or-treated to death. On Halloween 2 trailer. Daniel, there we go. Daniel Farrens told me that was definitely not her, but that it was a voice actress that sounds like her. There you go. I thought, I was kind of like, maybe, you know, I remember hearing something, and I'm pretty sure it's on the Sean Clark episode as well. But Daniel Farrans would probably know, given he's part of that whole, you know, alum, I guess. My first concert was Judas Priest in 1983, Defenders of the Faith tour, going to see Joe Satriani and Steve Vai in 2 weeks. Excellent. Joe Satriani's coming over here playing with Sammy Hagar. And there's a massive, like, to do about it all, because he announced these big arena dates. People booked their tickets, and it obviously wasn't selling. So you've got Hagar, you've got the bass player, Michael, whatever his name is, from Van Halen. You've got Joe Satriani, and then you've got whoever it is, his son, I can't remember now. Wolfgang, I think it might be. Is it? Maybe. And so what they did was they rescheduled for alternate dates at different venues. And everybody's like, people are like, I'm flying in from Europe for this. I've paid for my hotel. I've paid for the flights. I can't get a refund, you know. And they clearly couldn't sell the tickets for these arenas, and then downgraded it to like smaller concert halls. And yeah, I was just reading like all this kind of negativity online about what that Sammy Hagar's done. It's pissed a lot of people off. I've been diving into Italian giallo movies. Oh, I love doing that. Yeah, I love doing that. Some great stuff out there. There really is. White Rose says the horror community is generally so friendly. With the type of content we all love, it's amazing to me that it's such a chill community. It is. And I think a lot of it is down to, you know, like I always try to be as positive as I can about things. And I think that's important when you're doing this sort of thing. I'm not a reviewer. I just love talking horror and giving you my opinion on the sort of films that I like. I'm not a reviewer. I'm not going to sit there and slag movies off. And I think, you know, it comes back. That positivity comes back. I always find that. I've always found that with Frank as well. We've never had a problem with trolls or anything like that. You get the odd numpty now and again, but I just hide them. That's it, gone. And so I've always found it a really positive experience. I know that's not the same with everyone, but for me, it's always been incredibly positive, and I always enjoy that. And that's why I always think about doing more. You know, once I've done this stream, I'll be thinking about what I'm doing next week. And I know I've got a few episodes that I've recorded that I know I want to put out this weekend and maybe on Tuesday. So I'm always kind of thinking about it. But I do try and, you know, Slaughtered Lamb took a lot out of both of us. It was a lot of work, 2-3 times a week with different time zones and everything. And so, you know, if and when we decide to come back, it'll probably be on a more kind of on a more, you know, kind of, I don't know, maybe monthly or something like that, rather than 2 or 3 times a week, because it was really taking it out of the two of us. But yeah, no, I find it an incredibly positive experience. So if you are thinking about it, do it, I'd say. Just give it a go, and you'll find that a lot of people are genuine. When you first get those first comments where people say, I really like what you're doing, there's no better feeling. It's nice. It really is. It's cool. And so I just enjoy it. I just try and do what I enjoy, and hopefully you guys enjoy it as well. David Deathray says, it's a lovely community I call the Convention Life Church because it feels like this amazingly warm fellowship. We're very sweet people that like some awesomely off-kilter shit. Yeah, exactly. That's amazing. My dad was at Woodstock. That's really cool. That is great. Don Max says, my first concert was Elvis Presley in 1976. His opening act was Engelbert Humperdinck, so I guess he was technically the first performer I saw live in concert. That is amazing. You saw Elvis in 76 as well? Like kind of Kung Fu Elvis, all that stuff. Like, because Elvis, for me, I love watching all that stuff. And it sounds really, really sad and that, but I love that kind of comeback stuff. The stuff towards the end and everything. He's coming out in those really tight, ill-fitting karate suits with bloody rhinestones everywhere, and I love all that stuff. Love watching those concerts. I can't wait to see Epic. Actually, I really want to see that. I missed it at the cinema, but I think it's on streaming now, so I think I'll give that a go. You keep at it a few weeks ahead of schedule, unlike Barry with years ahead. Yeah, I can't. Like, Barry is like a machine. Wolfman's got nards. He knows what he's doing for the next few months and later on in the year. He plans ahead so much, whereas I kind of work from episode to episode. I've got 2 in the bag at the moment, and that's only because I put a poll out, and you guys seem to like the idea of them, so I recorded them. But I can't think ahead that far. Barry is a machine. He will sit down and he'll record half a dozen episodes back to back on his morning off, and they're all there ready for him to just edit. The process is it's really taxing, coming up with ideas, and because I do it in kind of 5 stages. So a 10-minute video that I put out, or an 8-minute video, however long they are, is kind of 5 stages to me. There's writing the script. So I write a script and I then record it. I then edit it 3 times. I go through it 3 times. I do 3 passes on the edit. So that's 5 stages that I do. Okay, then you've got the upload. Then you've got the thumbnail. That's 7. Then you've got to write all the description. The whole process for one 8 to 10 minute episode can take 6 hours. It's not as easy as it sounds. So, that's why I get up early on a Sunday morning or a Saturday morning. I'll watch whatever films I need to watch to be able to do an episode. And then, yeah. Sometimes I write on the tube as well. I'll be writing on the tube what I'm going to record. But yeah, it's a lengthy process. It's a lengthy process. The TSL era with multiple lives a week was a special time. It was a special time. It was a hard time as well. It was tough, but we did it for a long time. Both TSL and this community are very warm and welcoming. There's a big difference in tone with this community and some of the other ones who just engage in vitriol and immature frat boy behavior. I wonder who you're thinking about there. Ah, dear. I always thought he was fibbing. Then when he died, they told me he was messed up, as you do at Woodstock, and had an infection in his foot. And he's one of the helicopters leaving. Oh, I see. You're talking about what are you talking about here? Have I missed it? James Montgomery and Friends, and it was amazing. I'm sorry. Woodstock. Right. Okay. Marisol says, I watched Epic in cinemas and it was awesome. Brilliant. Epic Elvis Presley in concert with surround sound was like being at an Elvis concert. Yeah, I know. I'm looking forward to it. That'll be really cool. Did you catch the Resident Evil trailer as a non-gamer? What did you think? Big thumbs up from me. You're not going to get any more than that from me on that film. I think everybody's in for a treat probably with that. Do you use a teleprompter app when recording? No, what I don't. I do have a teleprompter. It depends what I'm recording, because sometimes I need to read quicker, and so I'll use the teleprompter app sometimes. A lot of the time I use notes on my Mac. So I write everything out on notes and I crunch it down to as small as I can see on the screen. And then, so you're not seeing my eyes going like that all over the place. If I focus on it so I can't see myself, I just see the notes and record. So whenever I record something, I can't see myself at all because I'm looking at my notes. And I don't write it sort of so that it's a full script. It's mainly passages that are there to remind me. And I'll just kind of go backwards and forwards to them. And you'll see me move around a lot and go like that. And it's kind of because I'm thinking about what's up there, because I'm, I don't want to seem like I'm going like that all the time. It's difficult to kind of master, but yeah. Jordan says recording is so much more work than a live stream. A 10-minute video can take me 6 to 8 hours to complete sometimes. Lots of work goes in. Yeah, you're right. It can. Have you seen Drop Dead Fred, and do you think America slept on Rick Mail was a genius? Absolute genius. Such a shame that that guy's no longer with us. And Drop Dead Fred, I was okay. It wasn't his best introduction to America. If you see some of the stuff that he used to do in this country, like The Young Ones, Filthy Rich and Cat Flat, Bloody Bottom, what else was there? Oh, The New Statesman, all sorts of stuff. Yeah. Did you hear about Bo Starr passed away recently? I did. That's really sad. That was really sad. He had a good innings, though. Good innings. You mentioned in an older video, first concept. Yes, the grind, the Napalm Death, and that might have been the first one, actually. Yeah. When would that have been? 89 or something like that? Yeah. God, you've got a good memory. Bolt Thrower, Morbid Angel, Carcass, Napalm. I'd forgotten about that. I don't know whether it was my first one. It might have been my first one. It's a long time ago anyway. It's a good 37 years ago. Wow, Henry, you have got a good memory. I'd forgot. The band Carcass, who I think I've probably still got. I mean, I don't like any of that music at all. It was fun, though. But as they were playing, they had a video wall, not video wall, but slideshow of autopsies as they were playing. It was horrendous. Evil Alex says, I still need to watch that Carpenter Kurt Russell Elvis film. I'm waiting for a blue Carpenter Kurt Russell. Oh, Welcome to Graceland or something like that. I can't remember the title of it now. Yeah, I remember that. The Young Ones, terrific stuff. Davey says, I'm just now feeling comfortable shooting pre-recorded videos. The performance and editing is brutal. It is. For the longest time, I thought the baby from Family Guy was Rick Mail, so I thought people knew him. No, I think he was dead at that point. Any top tips for someone wanting to get into YouTube as a streamer? Start on a podcast. That's it. I would say that. That's what worked for me and Frank. I would start on a podcast and upload it to there are different companies you can upload it to. I can't remember that. Oh, I could probably tell you. One second. The name of the one I used was Buzzsprout, and you upload your audio file to Buzzsprout, and you can do your description and your thumbnail and everything. And Buzzsprout automatically pushes it out to Apple, to Spotify, to YouTube, to whoever it is. Tons of wherever podcasts are found, it pushes it out to all of them. And I think you pay about, I don't know, 25 quid a month or something like that. $25 a month maybe. And I'd start that way and see how it goes. If things work, then you've mastered the voice part. Then think about putting your face on there, because that's a whole different thing. Yeah, definitely do that. I thought about getting the Elgato prompter. I'm so bad at reading and making it sound natural. Thought it might make things unwatchable. It does work. The trick with it, the problem with the Elgato prompter though is lining it up with your camera. Like I look like I'm looking into the camera now, right? My camera's up there. If I look into the camera lens, I'm not looking at you guys. It's a weird thing. So when you get the prompter on the camera and you're reading the prompter, you're not seeing, you're looking above. And so it's really confusing. That's why I always stick a little script on the screen in front of me. The Carpenter film is just called Elvis. It is. It is. Some of your podcast pros should put on a clinic for aspiring content creators so they can see the process. That might be an interesting episode at one point. Get a few people on just to talk about how they got started, Yeah, Davey's right. The more you do it, the easier it gets. There is no trick to it. There isn't. It's just something you kind of get comfortable with over time. And every so often, now and again, I will, before I hit start, I'll go, shit, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about tonight. And that's where you guys come in. That's where the conversation starts. Talk to Drop Dead Fred lol and horror movies as TV shows first concept. Yeah, there's been all sorts of stuff. I'm from the Midlands. The voice ain't going to work. I'm from Yorkshire, you know, but I've lived longer out of Yorkshire than I have living in it. But yeah, you Midlands guys are all right. You got a good accent. Okay, folks, it is about my bedtime now. It's midnight here. Oh, it's 15 past midnight. So I'm gonna shuffle off. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. It's been a pleasure catching up with you all after 2 weeks. I think it's been now. Again, welcome to all the new subscribers in the chat. It's such a pleasure having lots of new faces in here, or lots of new names in here. And thank you for all the great support on the videos over the last, you know, if I'd have said 2 weeks ago, I'd have another 1,500 subs or whatever it is, and over the next 2 weeks, I would have said no way. But that's happened somehow, and there's a lot of support out there for the channel at the moment. So I thank you for that. It's been a real pleasure waking up to a ton more new subscribers. And it seriously has. I've been going to bed and then waking up with 100 more, and I'm like, what is going on? Is this a mistake? Is there a bug with YouTube or something? But no, it's been lovely. It's been absolutely fantastic, and hope to see some more of you in here soon. Watch out for some more videos dropping up. I think I'm doing gore, 5 of my favorite gore scenes, and what was the other one? Jump scares, 5 of my favorite jump scares. And I want you guys to tell me what yours are as well. So I'll see you over the next few days. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.